Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So around 2-3 weeks ago I made an art lesson and I asked you guys to submit your homework so I could critique it for another video, and today is the day I'll be critiquing all your artwork. I had a quick scan. I'm really happy to see everyone's styles and how everyone can come together and draw even though we're probably miles apart because we live in different areas in the world, so I think that's really cool. One thing is that I want everyone to watch through the whole video. Don't just skip to the part where I critique your artwork because I think the advice I give to one person may be applied to everyone, so please listen to the whole thing. And also I would like to apologize for my fatal mistake for drawing 6 fingers. I know, I'm meant to be the teacher, but we all make mistakes sometimes. Always count the fingers that you draw in every artwork that you make. If anyone draws 6 fingers here, I wouldn't be so hard on them because that's the mistake I made, and I'm really sorry about that. I was really ashamed. Without further ado, let's get started. So here is the first artwork. It's overall really cute. I really like your art style and I think you have your own distinct art style. And the pink highlights obviously because I love blush. One thing I think you can work on is the anatomy. The arm length is a bit weird. Like for example, I think the upper part of the arm should be equal lengths or around equal lengths, but right now you can see that your upper portion of the arm is way shorter than the lower portion of your arm, if that makes sense. But aside from that, I do think it's really good. And there are not many major criticisms I can make except for just keep up the good work. Next. Here is our second artwork, so this is a digital one. Okay, you drew 6 fingers, but I can't blame you because I made the same mistake. And overall, I think this is really cute as well. One thing I think you can work on is the hands. For example, this hand is smaller and I think you just need to practice anatomy a bit more, and that's just something that comes with time. And make sure that your hands are... Oh, that's really bad. Make sure that your hands, like, you fall... It's really hard to describe, but like this part you see your hands are going in, but it should be like this shape. It's really hard to explain, so I think the best thing I can give to you is practice. And another thing is your arms as well. Right now you kind of have the same problem as the first person, is that this part is way longer than this part, so make sure that they're equal. And one thing I suggest is not to make it completely straight. Like for example, you wouldn't draw a hand just like 2 parallel lines because that's a bit weird. But instead you would like have these curves like that, because that's actually how an arm works. Like there are different sections joined together and not just a straight stick. So yeah, work on the anatomy a little bit. And as for the face, I do think it's pretty good. But one thing you can do is just make sure that this is white, because I don't know, that's just my pet peeve, and I personally like it when people color in white, but if that was your own intention, then that's okay. And I think the ear can also be a bit lower, like in this area. I think your other eye can be a bit lower, like here as well. It's just a bit with the angles I think needs a bit work, but aside from that I think it's really good, so good job. Yeah, okay, next. So this is the next artwork. You guys have such cool styles. I'm so proud of everyone here. So again, I think you can also work on your hands as well. One thing is to practice the joints and know that there are joints in the hands, like here and here, how they fold. I can't really describe it in detail right now. I'll probably make an anatomy tutorial sometime in the future, but I feel like you can just practice drawing hands, like just draw them over and over again by using your own hand as a reference. For example, you can just draw your left hand while you draw your right hand, or vice versa if you're left-handed. And another thing is the ears are a bit too tall. You can make them a bit lower, like here. And yeah, so just work on the joints a little bit, and the rest I think is really good. So good job, and keep drawing. Next, okay, so I think everyone has almost the same problem here with the hands. And for this particular example, I think you can make the hands, or you can make the arms a bit thicker, because right now I feel like the hands are too big compared to the arms a little bit. Another thing I think you can work on is the ears. I know I have small ears, like I as a person have small ears, but I think this drawing has, the ears are a bit too small as well, so you can work on that. I think your angles can also be a bit better. For example, like according to your face, I feel like the head shape should be like that, and maybe a bit shorter as well, so maybe that. And yeah, but I don't think it's like this particular drawing. I think it's something that you need to just work on over time, and it'll just take a long time to perfect these kind of things. But aside from that, I think your art style is really cool, and thank you for submitting a drawing. Next, okay, so this is the next drawing. You have a really cool style, I've got to admit, but I think some things you can work on is where the exact lighting is, because right now I'm not really sure where the light source is by how you did the shading of the drawing. Is it from here? Is it from here? Like, I can't really tell, so maybe you can make that clearer next time. I know it's anime art and this is not that important, but just putting highlights everywhere kind of makes it a bit weird. Does that make sense? Here are some few things I also think you can work on. I think right now I feel like the head shape can be worked on a little bit more. For example, like there's not really any hair here, which I feel like there should be at least side bangs or an ear here. Does that make sense? So you can work on that a little bit, or maybe just bring this down, just because right now I look like I'm balding here, you know? As for your hands, I think you can make this go a bit in a bit more, because right now like the thumb area looks a bit fat. And then as for your arms, I think you can work on the joints, as I said before, because it's kind of connected like this, like the hands. So like this is a kind of a bad example, but I mean, so like this goes in and out. So maybe you can work on that a little bit more as well, instead of just doing that. I'm not even okay. I hope you get what I mean. This is overall a really good drawing, and thank you for submitting your artwork. Next. Whoa, this is so cute. I really like your art style. Oh, one thing is I think this ear is a bit too tall, so maybe put it down a little bit here, and then the arms can be connected better, because right now like the joints are like a bit weird. It's not a huge issue, but if I do it, I would make this like here. It would just look nicer. But aside from that, I really like your art style, and yeah, there's not much I can criticize for this, so good job and keep up the good work and keep drawing. Okay, next. So overall, I really like this. It's really cute, and you drew in your sketchbook as well, I can tell. Yeah, so for you, the lines, I think you can have more like curves. Does that make sense? And this part especially, I think when you encounter this kind of problem, maybe try drawing a base, because maybe in my tutorial I went straight into the body, so that's not good. But when you draw like ovals and stuff to make sure that they line up, then this problem will happen less, as I'm drawing here on the right hand side. Another few things you can work on is that the end of the pen was missing, so you can add that. And then the neck can be a bit shorter and less like and kind of be more curvy, especially if you're drawing females, because the females tend to have more curved shapes while men have more rectangular shapes from what I have observed in figure drawing class. So since this drawing is portraying a female character, I think that's what you can do. The face anatomy is quite fine and it's really cute, so there's not much I can say. Maybe for this part it can go in instead of going out, because right now it's more like the head is like that, like kind of like a triangle. So you can work on that a little bit, but I think this is a really good attempt and there are not a lot of problems with it, so I think it's really good. Keep up the good work. Okay, next. This is really cute. I really like your art style. Things I think you can work on is the hands. So I think your second finger is a bit too long here, so you can shorten it a little bit. And also for fingers, I think this is one thing that I think a lot of people don't know, is that there are actually a lot of joints in the fingers. So there are 3. So okay, looking at my finger right now. Okay, let me just quickly draw my finger right now. Oh, this is a bad attempt, but I hope you know what I mean, is that there are different joints. So this is 1, 2, and then the 3 is where it connects to the palm. So there are 3 different joints. So because right now it looks like it's like a straight stick. So next time, maybe make it like this to show it has like 3 joints in the fingers, because it's really important that you put that in your artwork. And same for here, make sure you add the joints instead of making it a flat surface. So yeah, keep up the good work and yay. Wow, so this is like a colored pencil, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. It looks really cool. I like your art style a lot. So some things I think you can work on is the eyes. I think for eyes, you can make the top part a bit more thick. Or maybe that's just my personal choice, but making it more thick instead of just doing that. Instead of just drawing a line and then adding a few things, and make sure there's like a curve to convey more 3-dimensionality into your artwork. And I think instead of thinking of the eyelashes as like triangles, think of them more as like actual eyelashes, like, and have like this curve to convey the 3-dimensionality and to make it like go upwards instead of just having triangles. And for the bottom one as well, don't just draw one line, and try having lines of different thickness as well, because if you just do this, like, it looks a bit strange. So yeah, and same for the eyelashes in the bottom, like, don't just make them go down. You should have a little bit curve while it goes down as well. Right now I can see that your line work is also a little bit shaky or unstable. For me, it feels like you went really hard drawing in the lines, like you put a lot of strength while creating the line art. So maybe try using less strength and like use your arm instead of your hand to guide you. Maybe that will help a bit of the stability. Cool, next, this is really cute. I like your art style and I see that you changed it up a little bit. So I think you can also work on your anatomy as well. So firstly, I think the eyes may be a little bit too big. So when you're drawing anime, usually the eyes, say these are the eyes, the gap between this is like the length of another eye. But right now you can see that the gap is way too tiny compared to the other 2 eyes, so you can work on that a little bit. And the neck, I think, is a bit too thick as well. So when you're not sure of where the neck is, I think a really good way is just to stare at a mirror and see where your neck is, because it's not like a very difficult pose. You can just look at your neck while you draw. Cool. Next piece. It's really, really cute. I think things you can work on is arm length, and I think your fingers can have a bit more, because right now I think they're sharp at the end, so maybe try to add more roundness to the ends. Usually it's like this instead of this, you know? So maybe try doing that. I also think maybe your eye on the left can be a bit bigger and a bit more to the center, so like here, and maybe the face shape as well. And the arm here, it looks a bit off as well. I suggest you move this whole thing up a little bit. But aside from that, you did a really good job, so go pat yourself on the back. Okay, next is this. It's really good, and I noticed that you do follow the tutorial quite closely. Things for you to work on is, I think the neck is a bit too long in this particular piece, and you can add more volume to the hair and try to make it flow more by adding more curves, like natural curves. Because right now the hair looks a bit straight, which is kind of unrealistic, because even if you have straight hair, it's a bit too straight, you know? But aside from that, there aren't really many criticisms I can give, because it is really good. Maybe the face shape here, make sure that there's like a bit of the back of the head. So good job, and thank you for submitting. Here's the next piece. I think for you, you can maybe work on the hands a bit more, because right now, so I can't give you exact criticism, but more of like a reminder for you to just practice your hands by drawing them over and over again. And the more you draw hands, the easier and the better they will look. So same for both hands. And another thing you can do is, I think you can add my hair back in the end. I think one thing you can also do is draw a base before you do the actual drawing. I know I don't really do that because I've drawn a lot and I don't really need a base as much anymore, but having a base like that will help you know the anatomy dimensions a bit more, and also maybe add guidelines so you can know where the eyes are, so you can get the right angles and make sure the head shape is well as well. So yeah, thank you for submitting and keep up the good work. Next, ooh, look at this art style. Okay, it's really good. There are just a few minor details I think you can do to further improve. So for example, your left hand, I think the palm can be a bit bigger, like here, and then go down like that. And then same for the joints here. I feel like you can have a more distinct thing, and I think my shirt can be a little bit higher, and the collarbones can be here, and the neck can be a little bit thinner. Aside from that, I really like the your own facial features and like your own art style. I think that's really cool, and there aren't a lot of criticisms I can give. Maybe the ears can be a bit lower and maybe add a bit more detail into the ears, but that's it. I think it's really good. Keep up the good work. Your colors are very vibrant. This is really cute. I can tell that you also follow the tutorial closely as well. Just a few minor things. The head shape can be a little bit more obvious, because right now there's like a weird like slope going on here, and I think your neck can go a bit more like a tree instead of having it be two things. And then same for your shoulders. As I said before, think of it as curves more than straight lines. And yeah, that's about it, and you did a really good job. Maybe the hair here can be a little bit more natural as well, but that's it. Good job, and let's move on. Whew. I hope you guys are not tired watching this, and I hope you guys are still here. Okay, so for this artwork, there aren't many major problems as well. One feedback I can give is the same as before, is to make sure the ends of the fingers are not very sharp because they look too sharp right now. And maybe make the hand just a bit bigger in general. And I think this one can be here, like the arm, because I don't think an arm can curve like that. And yeah, but I really like how you did the face, and maybe make the hair here a bit less, so you know, the head shape a bit better. But that's about it. I think you did a really good job, so thank you for submitting. Yay! Here is the next piece. For you, I think one thing you can work on is having like a smaller head shape. I think that's really important. Maybe the ears can go out a bit and make the hands a bit bigger. And although I don't know what your other artworks look like, if you think you have these bad habits, then you can apply them to your other artworks and show more progress as well. So maybe if you are always used to making a big head and like only drawing here, like this is really exaggerated, but like then you can know for next time not to do that. So that's one thing to work on. And yeah, but that's about it. Thank you for submitting. Woo! This is really cute. I really like your art style. Some things I think you can improve on. Maybe you can make the upper eyelash a bit thicker because I think they're too thin right now. And then some stuff you can also work on is maybe have the fingers be a little bit longer. For example, I think the thumb. Ooh, what is going on? The thumb can be a bit larger, and so can the other fingers. And then same for this hand, maybe make the palm a bit bigger. So maybe you can practice hands a little bit more. And same is the neck. I think you can have more of a curve, and the shoulders can be a bit more smaller if you're drawing me. And yeah, but I don't see a huge problem or like any issues. I think you just gotta keep drawing and you'll get better in no time. Here is the next artwork. This is really cute. I really like the background especially, so that's cool. Things I think you can work on, as I said before, the curves of the hands that can be applied. So make sure you have not just two parallel lines but actual curves in the arms, because you can see this is kind of straight like that. So maybe you can change that a little bit. Try not to use the straighten tool too much, because right now I can see that this looks really straight as well, or you're just really good at drawing straight lines. I'm not sure. The nose can be a little bit up here as well instead, because it's like this if you draw and the face shape, I think instead of being it like that, you can, since this is an anime style and they're usually like sharper points, so maybe you can add that as well. And maybe you can try adding a few more strands to make the hair flow a bit more. And maybe for this hand, the joints, as I said before, you gotta really practice that. And the head shape as well. So yeah. Ooh. Not 100% happy with the face shape, but overall I guess it looks okay. Yeah, you should be proud of yourself because this looks really good. Some things I think you can work on. I think the ear is a bit too big. The ears can be smaller. And then yeah, that's basically it. I think you captured this quite well. Maybe this eye can be going a bit lower. One thing you guys can do if it looks wrong is actually just to flip the canvas. So I flip it. Honestly, this one doesn't have a really big deal, so you can see the eyes should be a bit lower, and maybe work on the arms. Did I say that already? But yeah, and work on the joints a little bit. So yeah, this looks really good. Just keep up the good work and don't be that harsh on yourself. Like if it's just like, it's not like you're submitting this to art school or this isn't going in your portfolio, so you don't have to be that perfect with these artworks. Whoa, I really like how you did the eyes. So things I think you can work on is, I think you can make the eyes the same size, because this one looks a bit bigger. I know it's a bit hard to tell on the paper, so I'm sorry. So as for the fingers, I think they look okay. Maybe make this one a bit longer. And then but for this hand, I think you can have a more distinct curve here. And same for the others. I think you can work on the joints from the hands to here as well, and the neck. And I think the neck can be shorter as well, but there isn't much issue, and I think this is really, really good. So keep up the good work. Next. Okay, so this is really, really cute. Things I think you can work on is the hands. So maybe make the hands a bit bigger. The ears can go a bit lower. And cover this with more hair. And then the neck, I think you can have a more obvious thing going on here, but aside from that, it looks really, really good. As for the face shape, I think when you draw a line here, make sure that the chin is where it's meant to be, and make sure that both sides are equal. If you flip, you can see that like the chin's a bit too much inward, so maybe go back up a bit more. And yeah, maybe make this head shape follow the curves of the head as well. So yeah, that's it. You did a really good job, and you should be proud of yourself. Cool. Oh, this is really cute. So I think same as before, you need to know where your light source is, because if you add highlights everywhere, it looks a bit strange. So, and I think the yellow should maybe be another color as well. Aside from that, I think right now the drawing looks a little bit flat, which I think is like just happens a lot, and it's really common for beginners. So one thing you can do is when you're drawing or like sketching the base, you can add guidelines to make it, so for example, see here, like I'm adding these curves so it looks more 3D instead of just straight like that. Then like that looks a bit flat, so just to keep that in mind. And for the hands, I think you need to practice a little bit more. Make sure that the joints are working as well, and the ears are a bit lower, and keep that in mind and keep up the good work. Ooh, we're almost done. There are 3 left here. Okay, so this one, I think you followed the tutorial quite closely, and just very, very minor things. I think the neck is a little bit too long, and the fingers, just think about the joint thing as well, even though you did it really well. And I'm sorry about the 6 fingers thing, let's not talk about it. But aside from that, it's really, really good. There isn't any major issues, and yeah, thank you for following my class. It really means a lot. Okay, so this is really, really cute. Your art style is cute, but things I think you can work on: have a bigger hand, the arms can be a bit thicker, and just having, and same for this arm as well. And for the face shape, really make sure, because right now I think you started to draw without a base, even though I did not follow my base very closely in my tutorial, I know. But just making sure that I know where the face shape will be. Like if I do this, then I know the eyes will be here, and then the nose would be somewhere here, and then the mouth will be here. And that was kind of creepy. So yeah, so keep that in mind. So one thing you can do is add guidelines, so you know where it'll go. And then you can have a better face shape, and then you can also get a sense of proportion better. But that's about it. Apply that to your next drawing and you'll be just fine. Okay, last artwork by Baka. Okay, so I think you really improved. So Baka is one of the members of my Discord server that has been with me since the very beginning, so it's like about a year now, and like I can tell that she improved a lot from the first drawing she sent to my server. So good job. Things I think you can work on is, I think your eyelashes can be a bit thicker on top as well, and the head shape, I think how the head connects to the neck can be like a bit more to the right, and maybe have this go in a little bit more, like this part. And then yeah, same for you. I think the arms need to have that curve, and the joints you can figure like it's kind of connected like this. So try having that in your next artwork, because right now it just looks like this, which is a bit different. So make sure you have this curve here, but I think you improved a lot, so you should be proud of yourself. Everyone here should be proud of themselves. You guys all did a very amazing job. Please don't be discouraged because sometimes criticisms can hurt a little bit, I know from experience, but just know that we're doing this for you to improve. I'm giving you advice because I want everyone here to improve. And yeah, so I'm going to be recapping the main problems I see in the drawings. So number one is hands. I think everyone needs to work on hands. So hands, make sure that the fingers have 3 joints. And make sure you know the joints of how it connects to the rest of the arm. And make sure they are not too big or not too small. Way to get rid of this problem: use references. References are great. Did I spell it? References. Okay. Second problem I think you guys have is the curves of the arm. So do not do parallel lines, instead do curves. It's really hard to explain, but especially when you're drawing the female anatomy, you can see they have a lot of curves. Random example, but you see there are like curves here instead of just having 2 straight lines there. And it's really hard to describe what the curves are unless you just draw figure drawings over and over again. So I highly suggest going to figure drawings or drawing figures. I know figure drawings, like, they're usually nude, but you can find not nude figure drawings sometimes, so you can do that. Third is, I think you guys have a problem of always making the necks a bit too thick and they kind of look like a tree stump. I don't know. Instead, I think you can make it a bit smaller and have this curve that goes outwards instead of just having it like that. And you guys tend to have too much space. You guys tend to have too much space between. You guys usually do this or something. This is kind of exaggerated instead of just having it curve naturally. So yeah. And the 6-finger problem thing, I'm still very sorry about it. I'm so sorry. I feel like I've just failed like my whole subscriber fan base. I'm sorry. I have nothing to say, but I'm sorry. This is a rookie mistake. We all make mistakes sometimes. But those are the main issues. Another thing is the head shape. Let me add curves, neck, head shape. So if you think you may not be at the level yet, so you can actually sketch out the head first, like that. Make sure that these are even. You can always flip the canvas to see if they're working if you're doing it digitally. One thing I do if I'm doing traditionally is hold it underneath the light, and you can, well, you flip the paper and then you can kind of see it. Okay, and then you can add the guidelines and then just draw on top. Make sure that the eyes are in equal portion and equal size and everything is going in the same direction and angle. That's very important. And make sure like there's not too much space, like so like the forehead ain't too big or too small. Those are the main problems I found in you guys' artwork, and they aren't huge things except for just to work on it a bit more. Just keep drawing like If you just apply my advice now to your artwork, then you'll slowly get rid of these bad habits and you'll just improve quickly. Subscribe if you haven't. Thank you for watching. Thank you to everyone who submitted. Join my Discord server and follow me on Instagram if you haven't already. Bye!